Hello and welcome to the final book haul of 2023. Let me show you the books I am keeping. So when I had that big giant book haul where I found all of those vintage science fiction and fantasy books, I got a copy of The Magus. Not this copy, but a copy of The Magus, and I got so many comments saying that I should have kept it instead of selling it, and that I promised that if I found it again that I would keep it this time to read it. And I finally came across another copy 4 months later of The Magus. It's not as cool as a cover, but it still is the book by John Fowles. So I now have a copy to read so I can experience this. I got a ton of comments stating that this was something I definitely needed to experience, so I will now. I also went up on Whatnot and scored an ace double. This is a Jack Vance, Son of the Tree, with a Jack Vance, The House of Ism. So I not only sell on Whatnot, but I also am a frequent purchaser on Whatnot. In fact, one would say I just kind of recycle the money back into Whatnot sometimes, but this is exciting. I don't have very many ace doubles, and I have found that I really enjoy Jack Vance, and so it's really cool to have two of his in one book. I'm just keeping the plastic so I don't miss it. I also sometimes buy new books. I am, however, a little bit frustrated with Patrick Rothfuss, because instead of giving us, well, what we have been waiting for now for over a decade of the third book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, he has decided to just give us another little short teaser book. You know, of Silent Things was a side character story, which I enjoyed, and he has decided to do the same thing for Bast. So instead of giving us the third book that we are all anxiously hoping and waiting for, he gave us another side quest. So I'm still a sucker, and I bought one. So I did buy this new, this is, I believe, released this year. So really happy. Well, I'm not really happy. I'm happy for a taste of this world again, but please, Patrick, please release the final book. I promise it only makes it worse waiting. Don't be George R.R. Martin. Please don't. Please give us the third book. If you're not a fantasy reader, don't worry about that. But I'm going to show you two books that I purchased, and then I need help, okay? So the first book, I have a degree in history, and I realized that I have not read a nonfiction book in a while, and kind of keeping in theme with the fantasy and science fiction, I got a book about the young H.G. Wells by Claire Tomalin, and I'm very interested to read this. I've actually found this in a thrift store. I paid $2 for it, and I'm excited to learn more about H.G. Wells. Like, he's someone that has been talked about a lot. I literally just thought his works were classic literature. I didn't realize it was genre fiction, because he is regarded as a great writer, and as someone who has finally actually started reading his works, I would agree with that. Kind of timeless. He's managed to remain timeless even 100 and some odd years later. So I'm excited to read this. I purchased Slow River by Nicola Griffith. I had like a short list of books that I was having a really hard time finding for the Nebula Awards. I don't know why I thought I could read, you know, almost 60 books in a year with being self-employed, but you know, ambition is ambition. So I found not only a hardcover copy of Slow River, but it's an autographed copy of Slow River. So I was very excited. I paid $6 for this. Very excited about that. And then this is what I need your help with. So I was sent two books. One of them was given as a stream gift, and which is actually sent directly to my house. It's a third party for my safety. And then I also was sent a book to my P.O. box. So if you bought these for me, please tell me, because I didn't get a note with them. at all. I didn't get any note that says this is a gift from blah blah blah, so please let me know so that way I can put a note into the book, so when I read it I can again thank you for giving me, also just so I can thank you in general. So this is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I love the Darker Shades of Magic. I love the series. I have only read the first book. I have all of them. This takes place in the same world. This is supposed to be like after that trilogy takes place. And when I saw that this book was coming out and it was based in the same world, I was like, I really need to reread The Dark Shades of Magic and I need to finish the trilogy. Because I own all the books. Like I said, book collecting is definitely something that I adore. I just need more time, free time to read. But if you gave this to me, thank you so much. I love V.E. Schwab. I think they are just such a great writer. And I know they have written more than just The Dark Shade of Magic, and I know I actually have one of the other books that they wrote and I haven't gotten a chance to read. So if you gave this to me, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this. I like put it on my list and then it immediately showed up like 2 days later, and I was like, I don't know if someone's like trolling my list, but thank you so much. And then the other book showed up today in my P.O. box, and it is another Nebula Award winner. It is A Song for a New Day by Sarah Pinsker, and they also gifted me a hardcover, so thank you so much for that. It has the like plastic on it like it was a library book, but it doesn't have anything else in it, so it's just been protected. And so this is great. So the only book that I'm missing now for the Nebula Award series is The Speed of Dark by Elizabeth Moon, but I'm pretty sure my brother's gonna give me that for Christmas. So please don't buy that for me. I'm pretty sure I'm getting it for Christmas. I actually knew I was gonna get this for Christmas, so I had to message my mom and be like, hey, if you got me that book, can you return it? Because somebody else gave it to me. So if you were the person that gifted me this book, please let me know so I can thank you, because that was very sweet of you to do so. And like, I cannot believe that, you know, I said I was going to read all the Nebula Award books at the end of 2022, and then by the end of 2023 I'm going to own all of them, or have owned all of them, because some of them, as I've read them, I let them move on to a new home. But that is incredibly humbling to have you all help me with that so I can experience these stories, and I just want to say thank you again. It means a lot that I have these and I have been able to experience these, and that I'm going to hopefully at the end of 2024 have read all of the Nebula Award winners. But thank you whoever sent this to me. Please, if you sent me the V.E. Schwab book or Sarah Pinsker book, please let me know so I can again thank you. All the rest of the books I'm going to show you in this haul are books that I am going to be selling over on Whatnot. The paperbacks will be $2 to start, and the hardcovers will be $3, and I actually have quite a few hardcovers, which is a surprise to me. I've been slowly gathering books for a show, so hopefully you guys are down with that. If not, thanks for watching the video. So we're going to start with the paperbacks first. I have a Tanith Lee, The Birth Grave, a DAW. This is number 463. But if you get earlier printings of The Birth Grave by Tanith Lee in a DAW, it is an earlier number, which I did not discover until recently when I came across another copy, another DAW copy, that actually is number 143, and this one is number 463, but they're the same book, which is weird. But yeah, it does have a little bit of scuffing here on the back, but otherwise it's in really good shape. It does have some page tanning, but it doesn't have any marks. So that is the first one. Then we have The King of Ye Callis, and this is a book by Paul and Karen Anderson. This is supposed to be the second volume in one of their fantasy series about the Roman Empire, so I'm guessing this was an alternative history maybe. There is that. I also have a paperback copy of The Lies of Loch Lamore, which is by Scott Lynch. It is his first fantasy novel, I believe. And I'm selling this because I actually found this in hardcover, first edition hardcover. So I saw this and immediately scooped it up. So it'll be up for sale. I also am selling this because I recently came across a hardcover copy of Dragon's Eye, which I bought. And then I realized that I had it in paperback, so you guys can now buy Dragon's Eye by Anne McCaffrey. I've talked about it before where I have read a lot of the Dragon Riders of Pern series, like the Pern world from Anne McCaffrey, but I've not read it in order because she does a really good job about making it so you don't necessarily have to read them in order. And yeah, I just thought, well, I have it in hardcover now, so I will just swap it out so you can have Dragon's Eye in paperback. You don't necessarily have to read, in my personal opinion, all the other books to enjoy any of the Pern books, but that's, you know, my personal opinion. This is also, I picked this up because I looked at this cover and I was like, I cannot leave this behind. This is supposed to be the second book in a series. This is Cruiser Dreams by Janet Morris. It is a 3-part saga. But 1, look at the lady and the dude, and then 2, look at the spaceships. The spaceships have faces on them. And that just looked wild enough that I had to pick it up. So there is that. We also have Barbara Hambly, Stranger at the Wedding, where she looks like she's doing a femme cosplay of Adam West's Batman. Although that might be a personal thought there. So Barbara Hambly, Stranger at the Wedding. So it's fantasy. This is like a wizard thing. I cannot leave Brian Jakes behind when I find him, so this is Mossflower, which again, I own most of these. There are some that I am still missing, but got Brian Jakes, Mossflower. This is the second book. This is The Book of Lost Tales by J.R.R. Tolkien, A History of Middle-earth. So this is the second book. I'm guessing there's a part 1, but I only found part 2. And I'm guessing this is just more stories about Middle-earth and how it came to be. There's that. I have a little horror book here. This is Nightblood by James N. Thompson. So 1 horror book at least. And then here are a couple of more vintagey copies of things. So I know that this is kind of like just classic literature, but I found a vintage copy of To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And has like a teal text block, green text block, whatever color you want to call that. And this is from 1962. It smells like old book, which is just catnip to me. I also picked up The Second Experiment by Joe Jepson. This is a Fawcett Crest book. Got some cavemen going up into a spaceship, it looks like. And this is a first print from 1974. I've never seen that before. We have kind of like a military sci-fi. So this is James Axler's Deathlands. At least that's what it looks like to me. So Golden Eagle science fiction. And then we have a Bob Shaw. This is Ship of Strangers. This is from 1977, I think. Am I correct? 1979. Close, but not quite. And then this cover was just weird. This is also considered science fiction. This is, I think actually this is one I was wanting to keep. This is The Wall Around Eden. I unfortunately am going to butcher her name if I try to pronounce it. But that cover is just weird. And then reading the back, it kind of sounds similar to another book that I've almost finished reading. This is a first print from 1990, so this one would have been before Queen City Jazz, which is the one I think that this is similar to. So I kind of want to read this one. So this one I'm so sorry I'm keeping. So sorry about that. So this is the V. Schwab series that I have not read at all. But this is the first book in that trilogy. It's Vicious by V. Schwab. It is a trade paperback. Again, I cannot not recommend them enough. So this, if I've piqued your curiosity about how much I love their writing, you can start with this series. I also picked up a really nice trade paperback copy of The Giver. This is in new condition. So there's The Giver. We all know what The Giver looks like. It is probably one of like the best like youth science fiction novels. It's just such a beautiful and sad story. We have another Brian Jakes. This is Lord Brocktree, but this is in the trade paperback by Redwall, or by Firebird Fantasy, I'm sorry. I just love the way that the Firebird Fantasy like looks on the side when they're all together. I think they're beautiful. We have a copy of The Hobbit. This is a trade paperback copy of The Hobbit in the 1990 trade paperback edition. I've like picked this up and sold this multiple times. And then we have The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan. A lot of fantasy in this haul, so sorry about that if that's not your jam. But I think this is the Draconis Memoria Book 1, so this is the first book in a series. I think this is a UK printing. It is an Orbit. Yeah, this is a UK printing, so there is that. I've never heard of this before, but it looked cool. And then we have The Boat of a Million Years, which I believe Matt has read and reviewed on his channel. But this is the big trade paperback. It's about like people that live a really long time. I'm pretty sure, and it goes like a couple of centuries, like people through history. At least that's what I think I remember from his review. So here is a trade paperback of that book. So again, all of these are $2 starts, and hopefully they will be up by noon tomorrow, so that way everybody, you can look at them all. But I am not with it today. I've had such a long day. All right, I also would like to take a moment to say I apologize that there hasn't been a whole lot of content on this channel recently, but that is because this is not my main channel. My main channel is my reselling channel, and I've been doing daily content there for the holidays, and so I'm just running on I'm running on empty right now, so please forgive me. We're gonna have, again, this is gonna be a lot of fantasy, so my apologies. I just haven't been able to find a whole lot of science fiction lately, so, but I just like both genres. This is Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. I think we all know this book. I mean, if not, there have been multiple movies. I mean, my movie will always be Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst, but you know, if you like the new series, that's cool. This is the anniversary edition for 1996. So the 20th anniversary edition. Hardcover. Then we have Janet Morris Thieves World Beyond Sanctuary. Look at that cover though. Absolutely beautiful cover. That lady's definitely hot with the come hither look there. We have Peter F. Hamilton, The Fallen Dragon. Despite it saying The Fallen Dragon, this is a science fiction book. This is, let's see here. This is a mystery to us all. 2002 hardcover. It's wild to me that that is considered vintage. Alright, so we have Jacqueline Carrie, Bane Wrecker, Volume 1 of The Sundering, another fantasy hardcover. And when is this from? So this is the beginning of another trilogy. She has the Kushal trilogy as well. This is from 2004. It's the first edition from 2004. This is The Queens of Enisleer. This reminds me very strongly of a YA series that I have devoured and is actually tattooed on my body. This is by Tessa Gratton, and this was published in 2018. So this would have been published after the series that I read. So just seems a little sus. They seem a little close together, but again, found that. And then I also have another book from the Blood Chronicles, or the Vampire Chronicles. This is The Blood Canticle by Anne Rice. It's got the lovely deckled edge, and it is upside down in the dust jacket. That always weirds me out. When that happens, I'm like, oh no, did I get the wrong book? No, I did not. I did not get the wrong book. Somebody just put the dust jacket on wrong. That somebody may have been me. The number of times I've gone to the bins and like had to find the dust jacket because it's separated, or I found the dust jacket first and then I find the book later. I'm like, this book has to be in here. Okay, so this was from 2003. Very shiny. I'm also selling my copy of Among Others by Jo Walton, which I have read and reviewed on the channel. This is a Nebula Award winner. It seems like it was a Nebula Award winner because it definitely patted the back of a lot of science fiction authors. Again, I've said before, if you are someone who is trying to get your fantasy reading, like daughter or granddaughter or, you know, teenager into reading science fiction, this might be a good place to start. But that will go up for sale. It is large print, so also if you have trouble seeing, that might help as well. Another fantasy book. This has some damage to the dust jacket. Down there at the bottom, it got ripped. But this is Ed Greenwood, Dark Vengeance. Ed Greenwood writes a lot of the Forgotten Realms books. So here is this. This is also another book that I meant to keep. I put this in the wrong pile. I'm sorry. So this is S.E. Hinton's Hawks Harbor. The same individual that she wrote The Outsiders. And I saw this and immediately was like, I would very much like to read something else from her. So this is also going in my keep pile, so I'm so sorry. I did not separate these out very good. I have a hardcover edition of Harry Harrison, The Adventures of the Stainless Steel Rat. This is a book club edition. It does have some foxing there on the deckled edges. So this is an omnibus. It has the Stainless Steel Rat, the Stainless Steel Rat's Revenge, and the Stainless Steel Rat Saves the World. So it's got 3 books of the Stainless Steel Rat in here. And this looks like it's from 1972. Again, it's the book club omnibus edition. Next book is World of Warcraft. I spent, 4.5 years playing this game. Too many years of my life playing that game. But this is Vulgan, Shadows of the Horde. I played both Alliance and Horde. I've again played way too much, but I'm gonna offer this. This is actually a pretty rare book. This is the Crustancy Quartet. So there are actually 4 books in here by Diana Wynne Jones. These are going for like $15 to $20 on eBay. So this has Charmed Life, Witch Week, The Magicians of Caprona, and The Lives of Christopher Chant in it. It's got a cat on the back, a very stylized dude and a frog on the front. There's that one. Another hardcover science fiction book. This is David Weber. Off Armageddon Reef. Earth is dead, humanity is hiding. This is a first edition tour book from 2007. I also got a copy of Jake Halprin and Peter Kujawinski's Edgeland. I feel like this is science fiction. I can't tell if this is science fiction or fantasy. It maybe is a little both. I don't know. I actually got found 2 copies, so one's going up for sale and one is going in the pile to keep. So there is that. And we have, all right, so now we also have Cryoburn by Louis McMaster Bujold. Part of her big saga that I think has like 14 or 15 books in it. Not quite sure. We have a big Stephen King omnibus here. We have Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining. Really thick hardcover. It does have some stickers on it, which I will promise to take off before I put it up for sale. I have a little heat gun, a little fancy thing to take it off, so I'm normally pretty great at that. But, you know, this is probably 3 of his most famous works. I mean, isn't The Shining his first book? So, and then Carrie, you know, how many movie versions of Carrie has there been now? So, big omnibus, 3 Stephen King novels, starts at $3. So, hopefully I see you guys there at the Whatnot auction. If not, thank you so much for joining me in this very long haul video. I have a nice little pile for myself. Again, if you gifted me the V.E. Schwab or the Sarah Pinksker, please let me know so I can thank you properly. And just overall, thank you guys so much for an amazing year. If I don't see you again, I hopefully will have some review videos up before the year ends. But until then, bye! Bye.